What's your NSFW college story? Watched a guy beer bong a fifth of Jack. Right before he did it he said to his buddies, "Okay. So when I'm done, let's go to the hospital." He did it and he and his buddies immediately hopped in a car and took him to get his stomach pumped. Could have just thrown up like the rest of us. Met a girl in a frat party. We eventually ended up in a bar where talking turned to dancing. Turned to grinding. Turned to feeling each other up a little. And then suddenly she was giving me a nonchalant hand job in the middle of the dance floor. A couple of girls on my floor were going to a dance one night. I didn't go as I had work early the next morning. So I helped out with hair, makeup, and a variety of other things before going back to my room to watch a movie. As I was sitting on my bed watching my film, the door opened. A random guy came in and took off his pants. I was a bit shocked and confused, so I didn't manage to say anything while he was undressing. As soon as his pants were on the ground, I managed to speak up. I told him wrong room and he looked around, pulled up his pants, and left. I tried hooking up with an exchange student. We went to a bar, ended up dancing and making out. Then at some point we went outside to talk, and she asked if you want to FCK me? And as I was drunkenly agreeing, she put her hand in her pants, then showed me her hand which had blood on it, and wiped it on the wall of the bar. Then called me gay for turning her down. That's metal as FCK and you should absolutely have traveled to the bone zone with her. A girl bet a friend of mine that if he could eat 18 ice cream Snickers bars in 30 minutes, she would give him a blowjob. He finished in 18. She backed out of the deal. So all he won was the admiration of his peers and a massive stomach ache. The same friend almost got kicked out of school for shitting on the bra of a girl from our dorm. The details are not terribly important. He had a student affairs trial and had to testify about pooping on the bra in front of all these university higher ups and what he learned from it. A lot of the people on our floor went in support to testify, essentially saying, sure he shat on that bra, but he's a good guy. I felt terrible because he only took that decisive dump because I told him it would be funny. I can't help but feel details might be important. I got introduced to a girl my freshman year by one of my roommates. She was nice. We had a few dates. Fooled around a bit. But she never wanted to take the next step. She was fine with me going down on her, but had some type of fear aversion allergy to penis. I wasn't an arsehole demanding sex. But hey, maybe a handy. Came to find out she was super Christian and was only in college to find a man to marry and have kids. She wasn't even concerned about finishing school and dropped out 2 semesters later despite good grades. 19 years old me wasn't ready for that. And I told her so. I told her we were looking for different things in a relationship at this point and I wanted to break up. She replied with, if I have sex with you, will you stay? I noped the FCK out of there immediately. She stalked me for 3 months until she and a friend randomly showed up at a party I had and I spent the night unknowingly hitting on her friend. Never saw her again. But the friend did flash me her boobs. My housemate used to make the most adorable squeaking noise when she was having sex. Difficult to sleep through though. I had a roommate in college that earned the nickname MR. Bitches from the quantity of titties he pulled. He was dating this one Asian broad for a while that sounded like he was f-king a squeaky toy. One night I was trying to watch Thor on my admittedly overpowered entertainment system and I could hear this girl from the other room squeaking oh my god oh my god oh my god. Being a proper roommate and a right proper CNT, I paused my movie and brought up a Mortal Kombat soundboard, cranked the volume, and blasted the finisher clip. They stopped. She asked, is he playing a video game? He proceeded to almost roll out of his room while laughing. We still bring that one up at the bars. Me and the girlfriend at the time were super horny, but my roommate was in the room and asleep. So we went exploring to find a spot to do the dirty. We end up finding a spot in a nook in the downstairs bathroom. We turned off the lights, put a towel down, and went to town. Halfway through, someone comes in to take a piss. She's riding me at the time. So we freeze and wait for him to leave. We finished our business and left undetected. I had a part-time on-campus job as night manager for the college coffee shop, with responsibility for baking all of the cookies for the next day. One night, as I was cleaning the work area after the shop was closed and my co-workers were gone, my very kinky girlfriend stopped by, closed the door to the work area, and showed me her lack of panties. We proceeded to FCK on the work table where cookies get made. Later that month, we FK'd in the coffee shop itself, after hours, while a big college dance party was taking place literally right next door. Said very kinky girlfriend is now my wife, just celebrated 25 years married. Not sex related but some guy at a frat party on campus, next door to my frat. Eventually had to go to the hospital. Had a 48 back or something like that. Apparently the reason his heart was still going was all the coke he had done throughout the night as well. Tilde coke to avoid dying from alcohol poisoning. Not sex related. Naked beer slide in January, several inches of snow on the ground and suddenly there is a nude conga line and people diving on a beer soaked water slide. Afterwards we quickly ran back in the house and had turned off the lights to hide when the police showed up and the residents answered the door pretending there wasn't a gathering of rowdy college drunks. There was a gay bar in college that would let minors in on amateur strip night, where a bunch of hot sorority chicks get on stage and strip. We'd go and pre-game beforehand and then head over to it. After the strip show was done the place turned into a huge dance party. This particular night I had a lot of whiskey in me and decided to get up on stage and dance after the show. This girl comes up to me and starts grinding on me and eventually grabs my hand and guides it between her legs. And it stayed there for 4 songs or so while people around us watched. TLDR. Went to gay bar dance party. Finger blasted chick on stage while people watched. At an admitted students day, I took a girl's virginity on a park bench next to a lake at around 2 AM. I was kind of seeing this girl who lived in my dorm freshman year but all we did was fool around and she never wanted to go all the way. It was frustrating because she was really cute and I was a horny 18-year-old. One time we went out and gotched face and went back to her place. We like to fool around in the shower so we hit the showers drunk as hell. I'm trying my best to go all the way but it's not happening. So I throw out a Hail Mary and asks her if she would go out with me. Well, my drunk ass was surprised when she said yes and that got her to FCK me. I wake up the next morning hungover and not remembering much when I hear a good morning boyfriend and it's her laying right next to me. Pretty sure I was still drunk and said what boyfriend? Full stop. He stormed out of there in an instant and that is the shortest relationship I have ever been in. LMAO. Blackout drunk. Went roaming around the apartment complex. Found a small, low-key party. Fat girl. No less than 300 pounds. Was sober, or at least no more than 2 beers. Got me to go into her room. Ate her out. Never told me she was on her period. Too drunk to even realize. Woke up with blood all over my hand. Naked in her bed. Couldn't find my underwear. With only shorts on. Ran out of the house. Never talked to her again. She somehow found me on Facebook. She is in Facebook jail currently. Edit. Facebook jail is when someone requests to be your friend. But instead of accepting or rejecting, you just do nothing. So the person cannot try to request you as a friend again. It just permanently stays as request pending. This one happened to my best friend and it makes me laugh every time he tells this story. So he was at a party. You know, those wild parties with big 10-gallon jugs filled with God knows what. He finds this girl. They flirt. And they end up leaving together. They get back to his place. Clothes come off. And they start bumping uglies. At some point the girl, who is on top, sits up, pulls back her arm and delivers a solid right hook. He yells, "What the hell?" She sits there and says, "What? I thought you were into that kind of thing. They proceed to finish and he asks her to leave. He said he kept an eye on her hands the whole time. I had a girl sock me in the jaw while riding me. I gotta say, I enjoyed it. Her exact question after I looked at her appalled when she did it? Well, did that make you softer? Or did it make you harder? Touché. I was a member of a club called High Society, which was pretty much a drug distribution organization. Funded unknowingly by the university. Once a year we would have a boat cruise on the river, where we would consume drugs at an alarming rate, while singing songs that mocked the police, who would follow us along the riverbank, waiting for us to disembark. The trick was to make sure anything illegal was disposed of before they boarded. I'm convinced we are a big reason there now exists a water police division in our city. There was also the anatomy student who stole a penis from the cadaver lab and freaked out a bunch of dudes in a pub toilet by floating it down the urinal. I lived with 2 roommates my first year of college. One night, one of my roommates stumbled and drunk. Proceeded to take a large muddy poop, roughly 16 inches diameter, on our carpeted floor. Crawled into bed then proceeded to wake us up by loudly and violently vomiting all over himself. The sound woke my other roommate and I up. We crawled down from our bunks. I proceeded to simultaneously turn on the light while stepping in Z-ducky and dry heaving. I carried the drunk into the shower. Stripped him and turned on the water. He was a rather small fellow. As he was in the shower I asked my Ra what to do and she said maintenance would be there in the morning. So I spent all night cleaning the poop up with paper towels and Clorox wipes while binge watching South Park. The 4 of us gave each other tattoos while drunk on our butt cheeks of each other's initials. We planned it out ahead of time and when the last person was getting his tattoo someone casually came over, took a look and said, "Hey Chris, I didn't know you were getting a swastika tattooed on your ass." We were all pretty drunk and at that point Chris freaked out and we had to get a mirror to show him that it was just initials. Kid from my next class doing bong rips in the bathroom stall next to me right before our final. Another kid in the same class was in absolute tears doing last minute studying. He started freaking me out when he started carving up his notebook with a pen. Vet professor flips a F-king table and tells us to actually get the FCK out when the class did bad on a midterm. Crooked Dick showed up to a party. I work as a manager for this theater, closing up and taking care of customer service. At that point I had been flirting with a co-worker for the past couple of weeks. And we finally hit it off. While I locked up the theater space, he waited for me in the alley. Once everyone left, we smoked outside and went back inside. This would have been my great story of having sex inside the theater, except my co-worker was so tired from his shift. He wasn't very excited. Cue to being naked. Freshman year. Our floor was all male. Typical of freshman dorms. But we had a floor of all girls above and below us. We used to run Super Smash tournaments all the time in Will and Joe's double room and after our typical 3 hours all floor brawl, I walked back to my room and decided to take a quick nap. 30 minutes later, I woke up and realized I had left my phone in Will and Joe's room. So I walked back and nonchalantly opened their door to find Will and Joe double doggy teaming girls from the top floor on opposite sides of the room and my phone dead smack in the middle on the ground. I picked up the phone, put it in my pocket and Will and Joe both put out their hands to high five me. I stretched out both hands like a T, gave them 5, and walked out. Me and my boyfriend had sex openly in a jacuzzi at my old apartment complex. Mormon college group was talking about abstinence and purity 15 feet away. No regrets. So the first girl I went on a date with in college turned out to be pretty freaky, which to me was a plus. She talked about the tricks she had and I was excited about the possibility of us sleeping together until we were playing truth or dare with each other and a story came out about how she let her dog lick peanut butter off her vagina. I never talked to her again after that and every time I saw her after that I just thought about her and her dog. You missed your chance, dude. PB&V is my jam. Gonna get buried. But here's a copy paste from another thread I responded to before. We had a handcuffed terrorist party at my roommate's girlfriend's house for her birthday. It was basically pairs of people dressed as terrorists, sharing fifths between each other while zipped together. Finish the drink. You're free. Many things went wrong. I got stabbed in the face right below my eye when my friend tried to cut off the zip tee with a knife. We started a bonfire in the backyard using lawn furniture and lighter fluid. We splattered her roommate's expensive shampoo all over the fridge and used hairspray and a lighter to make a torch. We were playing WrestleMania 21 on the TV at max volume the whole time. A roommate called her dad, who came and tried to kick everyone out. He grabbed and pushed my roommate, which led to my friends tackling the dad as the dad was screaming at my friend. I enjoy how WrestleMania 21 gets its own line in the story. A girl I was friends with once claimed to have an orgasm in the backseat of my car because of the bass coming from the subwoofers. I once experimented with marriage while in college. I graduated. Not safe for work because, well, I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom doing homework. Right? I went to a party on acid once and it got raided by the cops. One time I finished an entire beer. Goddamn engineering. This thread is making me realize how much I wasted college party opportunities. AWH man, one time I was at this party. We got crazy drunk and then I hooked up with this girl. She ended up being gross. Gnarly. I haven't been to college because the tuition fee kept me up the ass while they ejaculated in my mouth. Pretty yes I know. Oh boy. Don't know where to start. I was kind of a libertine back then. Gonna have to go with banging my roommate's girlfriend while he watched. We were working at a college in the area and I forgot my hard hat in the garage, so I had to go buy another one. Non-sex related. Two of us art school dicks. Walking around, buzzed, stoned, putting graffiti up when a group of bros across the street flag a cop car and walk off laughing. Cops doesn't catch us in the act, but searches us and finds a paint marker in buddy's pockets. Makes me open my messenger bag and thank the Lord my paint marker gets snagged inside, instead of clunking out on the hood of cop car. Didn't check our shoes for weed. I got to walk. Friend got put in county. He told me later he bartered with the shoe weed to keep the guys he was locked up with from killing and eating his flesh. At a party in my college buddy's no-name town in the middle of nowhere, when some disgusting war pig whose nickname was Grimace asked me if I wanted to sit in the front seat of her car and jerk off while she took a shitty on the windshield. I backed away in horror. Proceeded to get blackout drunk. I woke up in the passenger seat of said car, all in the driver's seat. My buddy was frantically jerking off while she was shitting on the windshield. This one time I had the SX. You nasty.